Hello, this is Charting Man Dan of TheChartGuys, where we teach the little guy and girl how to utilize charts to manage their own trades and investments. What do I mean by the little guy and girl? Well, we just had two directives signed halting the implementation of a rule that requires financial advisors to act in the best interests of their client. Let that sink in a little bit. The big wigs on Wall Street can play with your retirement and hard-earned money without your best interests at heart. We currently have hundreds of members taking charge of their financial future, and we would love for you to come check out a free week with no credit card required to see if our services would be beneficial on your path to financial independence as well. What we offer, we have a separate course of over 5 hours in length on when to enter and exit positions. And in terms of what we do daily, we have nightly videos, key levels updated each morning before the bell, 2.5 hours of live daily webcam coverage in the morning and in the afternoon, and over 7 hours of educational videos. All of these links can be found in the description of this video. Come check us out. Thanks for watching. Let's get on to the technical analysis. Looking at YELP GWPH NVDA PCLN and Tesla on the daily and weekly time frame. So YELP is still weak, still rejecting from the 4-period exponential moving average resistance on the daily time frame, and still not seeing any closes near the highs. Ever since earnings, we have not seen a strong close. It's been all upper wicks and closes near the lows on all red days. So we have lost the weekly higher low uptrend. The must hold level for the bulls is $32. And the sooner that we get there, it's going to be a nice bounce point. If we keep dropping on the daily time frame with the RSI now 21, we're looking at support of 32.99 and 32.01. And I'm actually going to be scouting for a bullish entry, a bottom fishing play in probably tomorrow. And if we see a break and we get down into the upper to mid $32 range, you make a bull entry and you exit if $32 breaks. And that's the low that we saw here, 32.09, 32 even. So the 50-week moving average support is 32.70. The bulls are going to try and hold that tomorrow. But I do like an oversold bounce, looking for an entry now that this RSI is this low and we've seen this much movement to the downside. And it will just be a short-term bounce because we know the bears have momentum right now. Just looking to cool off this RSI for a few days and look for those short-term gains. GWPH continuing to pull back, but holding the middle Bollinger Band on the daily for the second day in a row. That level is 123.61 and continuing to ascend. Still lower highs and 5 red days in a row. So we are looking for the bulls to show up in the near-term future. Keep an eye on IBB as well, the NASDAQ biotech sector. That has a definite factor. We pulled back significantly 3 days. Bulls bought the dip today in IBB, and we'll see if that translates into some strength to end the week on GWPH. But we are rejecting from the weekly upper Bollinger Band resistance for the second week in a row, and you can see those Bollinger Bands are getting very tight. So overall, still maintaining higher lows and higher highs on the weekly. As long as the bulls form a higher low compared to 112, they still have control of that longer-term trend. PCLN, gap and trap day today with a new all-time high. I like PCLN bearish here if we see a consolidation in the S&P 500. And that would just be short-term bearish action, but we have 1433 support and make that 1633 and 1628. Break those levels, and we're looking at the middle Bollinger Band on the daily, which is down in the 16 teens. So there's some nice movement to the downside. Obviously, a lot of selling today. Close near the low of the day showed weakness. 1641 was some resistance during the trading day. I like the closing in here on a bearish MACD. Possible bearish cross on the 4 and 8-period exponential moving average on the daily, and rejection from the upper Bollinger Band. The weekly consolidation right now is very normal and healthy. The long-term bulls could care less about this current consolidation. There are no red flags here, but the daily time frame looking a little toppy after that gap and trap. Lots of selling going on, and due to the strong correlation to the S&P 500, if we see that consolidation we know is coming soon, then PCLN will be one of the first names I look to for pullback. NVDA all-out dump. And we had a downgrade after hours. In my opinion, it is no surprise that that downgrade came after a rejection from the middle Bollinger Band resistance on the daily time frame. Certainly believe that they pick and choose their spots when releasing these things, but huge gap down, lower high and lower low, bear break, close near the low of the day. We have $100 psychological support, and to maintain the higher low pattern, 98.99 must hold for the bulls. So the bears have all the momentum to the downside on big bear volume, and the weekly time frame is on the verge of losing the exponential support for the first time in a year and seeing a bearish TCG cross of those exponential moving averages. If we lose 98.99, we're looking at the weekly middle Bollinger Band down at 94.97. So if you've been watching the semiconductor videos that I've been doing the past couple weekends, I shifted sentiment on NVDA once we saw this high bear volume. It wasn't necessarily the double top. It was the volume behind the pullback these 2 days that had me shift and put AMD as the semiconductor sector leader and NVDA behind AMD due to that double top and bear volume. And now we're seeing that follow through and compare it to AMD in the sector. And AMD is looking just fine for the bulls. They bought the dip. We're right up here at the all-time high. And clearly it's not weakness in the sector. It's weakness in NVDA. So we got Tesla pulling back significantly as well. Bearish reaction to earnings. Gap down open. This 280 level is extremely tough. And this is now the third time we've rejected from 280 resistance on the weekly time frame in the history of Tesla. 3 separate attempts with multiple attempts in each set of attempts. So we have a lower high and lower low. We lost the daily middle Bollinger Band for the first time in pretty much 3 months. And we're looking down at 247.10. Break that level and it will be significant. You can see the bear volume is significant. We closed at the low of the day, and the weekly time frame is confirming that bearish reversal candlestick in a very big way. So we're looking down at 247.10, and the next level after that would be down at 245.50. So the bears are taking over after a huge multiple month run to the upside. And about time, but it's pretty magnified and fast to the downside. So a couple of these names looking bearish in the short term. Overall, their weekly trends are still bullish, but definitely looking at opportunity in both directions. I appreciate you watching. We'll check back in over the weekend. See you soon.